Oh, everyone, I can tell already that this is going to be a hoot of an episode. Ho, ho, ho. Welcome to the Christmas special of Did That Age Well. Today we're talking about Bad Santa, and my guest today is such a blast. My guest today, you could say, is a daily blast.
I knew you were going to do that.
Tori, welcome to Did That Age Well.
I am honored to be here. Thank you so much.
My
I can't not wait to talk Bad Santa and everything else.
Oh my God, same. Tell me what is going on with you. What projects are you working on? Where can people find you and your fun stuff that you're doing?
Okay, so I am Tory Shulman because I thought you signed up for like Instagram that way. Because I interviewed Scott Wolf and his Instagram was I am Scott Wolf in the beginning of Instagram. So
you were like, that's what
I thought everyone did. So now it's I am Tory Shulman.
That is actually so fun. I love that.
I know, but everyone spells it with the C. It's real Jewy, and it's like, it could be like Tory, I got the real long one. But anyway, you can find me there. I'm doing a podcast called Daytime Talk After Dark, which is my fellow panelists from Daily Blast Live.
So fun.
We got canceled hardcore, but as they called it, sunsetted.
Sunsetted.
Which is not a fun word.
They put you on pause. That's my favorite. We were put on pause.
Dude, the pause is long. So yeah, sunsetted in September.
Yeah, there was a team at my work that got sunsetted, and the person who like made the decision to sunset that team still believes it was not a layoff because they're like, well, we just sunsetted the project,
right.
so those people don't work here anymore.
And like at one point I was like, you're ruining sunsets, dude.
Yeah,
like, don't
literally,
take it down,
don't
dude.
take sunset. We have so little
I have nothing
to live for and appreciate. Don't take sunsets.
No, I have like hot bath, red wine, sunset, dog. Like, don't take that away.
Don't take that from us.
So that day we all got together and said we're doing something.
Good.
So we are doing, and we do it on Tuesday live, and we also have a Friday little show, half-hour show.
Awesome.
And then I'm also writing a book on grief, which is really funny.
Oh my God, that is awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. I had a big loss this year. My mom passed away earlier in January, and I'm going to lose my dog, as you and I spoke about earlier. And I lost my job. So a lot of loss this
big
year.
loss. A lot of sunsetting. Girl.
I am like the sunset awning.
Yeah.
So I'm writing it with like my twist on it.
Yeah.
Marination. I don't think, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm trying to like heal and find a new job. I'm close.
Yeah.
Everyone fingers crossed, toes crossed.
Yes.
To something I'd really like to do. But mental health wise, you're like a 2-3 here. We're at a 3-4.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
We are not at a 0.
We're not at 0. You're right. Thank you.
So we got to give ourselves credit for that. That's great. When is your book coming out?
So I have written 13 chapters.
Incredible.
I want to write 33, which is just a random number.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know why, but they're short. They're real short.
Okay.
When you're in grief, I don't think you want to be like, here's the tome I've been looking forward to. Like,
absolutely. Yes.
You want quick, short. Yeah. So it's coming out really fast. So I'm hoping to be done by February, and then then I have to find the book agent.
Right.
And in the end of books where they're like, I just want to thank my agent for being my best friend.
Of course.
Like, whatever. Don't, like Lily, you and me.
Couldn't have done it without you, girl.
So I don't have that person yet.
Lily, hit us up.
Lily. Totally. So I'm looking for a Lily.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. But it's and it's a lot of transition. I'm in transition, may you say.
Okay, yeah. So you know what I think you are? You are sunsetting the previous phase of your life, and what you're going into is going to be it's going to be Twilight.
Oh my God.
And
hashtag Team Jacob, Team Edward.
Oh my God. Team Jacob or Team Edward, drop in the comments.
Yeah, please.
But really, Team Jacob, that really is the only team that there is. Are you into raunchy movies in general?
Very.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was talking to my husband about this when we watched Bad Santa last night, that it's around the time of like the Farrelly brothers, something about Mary, where you're like, what did she get in her hair? Like they were like pushing it like a little farther. And Bad Santa, I remember being like, I cannot believe what came out of his mouth. I never saw it though.
Yeah.
But I like a good raunchy R-rated, straight up swearing movie.
Yeah.
Like hit me. I'm not afraid of the cinema.
You are ready. You're ready for anything.
I do.
Okay.
I like a dark movie.
Okay, great. I love that. I love that about you. And I would say probably the same for myself, that like I'm no prude at the movies. I am down for stupid humor.
Nice.
Especially.
Totally. Are you talking like Ace Ventura? Like,
yeah, like kind of just like they're just a movie that's like full of stupid gags the whole time.
Yeah,
or
like a Sandler movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's, I mean,
like a good Sandler.
Like a good Sandler.
Yeah, let's take that back. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like a good
Happy
Sandler
Gilmore,
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick and I talked about Little Nicky on the podcast.
That's
and that
problematic.
One was tough. That one was tough.
That did not age
a
well.
lot of Adam Sandler movies are tough for me, but I am perfectly happy with like sophomoric humor.
Great.
This movie to me, and I know this is going to be our first fight because I
don't do this to us.
I found this movie to be like, it felt like the same joke over and over and over and over again, but nothing was being added. There was no new angle. It was just like, the joke is that he's Santa, but he's bad. Like,
which they say in the title.
And you're going to know that immediately. They have, and also like in the first 5 minutes, you know everything you need to know about this man. And that's fine. But it was just like, oh my God, it's Santa and he yells at kids. Oh my God, it's Santa and he fucks. Oh my God, it's Santa and he's got a foul mouth. Like, it was just kind of like, yep.
And what does this mean? So I do a lot of improv in LA, and UCB, Upright Citizens Brigade. Amy Poehler started it. Mm-hmm. By the way, the Matt Walsh who started was in Bad Santa. He's the neighbor.
Who did he play? Oh,
who's
the
like,
neighbor.
Are you going to do the Luminaries? That guy's a really famous improv guy.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But anyway, in it, they say this famous line, which is like the Bible of it. And it's like, if this is true, what else is true? So if I'm in a scene with you and I'm like, oh, I haven't done it so long, but like, oh, this is stolen. And then you're like, oh, but I stole the building. And then you're like, but I stole the town.
Yeah.
Like, so I felt very much that this was a character investment of someone. And you're seeing, if this is so bad, what else could be worse?
Right.
So like at first he was like, what the fuck you want, kid? That was so funny. But then it was like, oh, he also like steals from the mall.
Right.
And then he like wants to have a suicide. That got like
that
so
really
dark.
They really did. It was like the same joke over and over and over again until he was like trying to kill himself. And then it was like,
that scene came out of like nowhere.
It came out of nowhere.
Like, I was writing my notes. I'm like, I wonder what she's thinking. This is very strange.
But yeah,
they
dark.
pushed that. Like, if this is true, what else is true? And it's a type of comedy that requires you to just be invested in the actor.
Right.
And if it wasn't as good as Billy Bob Thornton, you're absolutely right. But because of him, I was invested.
Right.
Which so I like seeing the downfall and the little steps. Was it too long in that respect? Was there too many of it? Yes.
I felt like there was too many of it.
He pissed himself too many times.
And he pissed himself too early in the movie.
Agreed.
That's the thing, is that
you
like
don't want to piss
we don't really see his downfall. Like, he starts bad and he ends still bad, but not as bad.
Yes,
you know?
you're right.
Like, I kind of
We start in the middle, don't we?
Yeah, we start in the middle. Like, we pick up at him, like, he pisses himself in the first like 10 minutes.
Don't we all, though?
And girl, don't we all?
Raise a glass, ladies. No, but you're right. When he pissed himself, sorry for saying that, peed and whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they're going like that far into alcoholism. Like, I was like, oh, this is like got some real things in it.
That's the thing too, is that I felt like for a dark comedy, like, I do really like a dark comedy, but I was like, I'm afraid that they started a little too dark.
I know what you mean.
The joke is he's Santa and he's bad. It would have been, I think, fun to me if we would have started with like, he's with kids and he's a little tipsy and he says something rude about one of the parents, or like he gets like a little bit too drunk with his coworkers and then like he faces some consequences. Not like in the first 10 minutes he pees his Santa suit and then you go out into the back alley and he's already crushed like 15 beers.
Yeah, I mean, the opening title is Bad Santa and he's puking into a dumpster.
Yes.
Which, by the way, again, if I had a nickel. But what I'm saying is, like, I do think they wanted to, like, hit you over the head with how I sort of enjoyed how bad it was.
Yeah, you enjoyed that it was just like already so over the top.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have worked, again, had it not been someone who can play drunk.
Yeah.
Realistically, like leaving Las Vegas well.
Oh my God.
Like he was quite good as a drunk.
He really was. And I feel like, God bless I don't know whether I should be really congratulating like the makeup department or if I really should just be giving Billy Bob Thornton that credit. But I'm like, he looked like shit.
He did.
He looked like shit and he still pulled. Which
he did.
is puzzling.
I kind of wanted to ask you that.
How that is of all of the things in this movie, this man not being fired from his job, all of the ways in which he gets away with everything. The thing that I just could not suspend my disbelief for was that he could pull.
That's who. So I wrote the trope of the hot woman going. By the way, that hot woman is none other than Lauren Graham from the wholesome Gilmore Girls.
And Gilmore Girls was still going.
So I've never seen an episode, but I know it's like, let's get coffee and do that for 20 minutes. Like that's all they do.
Yeah.
And for her to be like, fuck me, Santa. I was like, what?
I know.
Happening? But yeah, for her to be in love with him was the biggest eye roll.
That was, I think, it was one of those like, oh yeah, this is a man's fantasy.
Totally agree.
He's like, well, of course she'll love him because she has a Santa kink and no one else can put a Santa hat on. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not as though he was like, you know, a thick guy with a white beard.
Right. Like
who
a
said,
real
ho, ho, ho. He was a gaunt alcoholic who was in an oversized Santa suit that he had peed in.
Yeah. And she was like really
she was
hot.
like, oh yeah, fuck me Santa.
Yeah. Over and over again. Golly.
God.
Yeah, I also wrote like what a trope this is.
Yeah. Totally.
That's
it's
so
like,
true.
well, if she has a kink, then she'll be into this ugly guy.
And she just looks at him while he falls asleep.
Yeah.
Like wasted. I was like, all right.
And they trusted her to take care of that kid afterwards. It's not that she can't take care of a kid, but she was like, oh, what a sweet kid. And so they were like, well, she's a woman, so she'll take care of him.
I was like, no woman saw the script at all.
No.
She's a mother, right? She's a woman. Put her there.
She's nice and soft.
Totally.
And she thought that kid was sweet.
Yeah.
So she'll just parent him.
That was a crazy kid.
Yeah.
What did you think about the kid? I wanted to know your thoughts.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think that in general, I could have seen this coming, that they would have no other kid could play this role but a fat kid, of course, because they needed a kid who was bullied. They needed a kid who had like snot on his face. And of course, it's so much funnier if it's a fat kid.
That's such a good call.
And I felt like, pretty much every
trope,
time that there was like a kid doing something gross, it was a fat kid. And I think that he kind of like captured all of the stereotypes, but at the same time was really like naive in a sweet way.
Yeah.
And like, you know, he wanted at the very end when he asked him like, will you bring me presents because you're my friend? Like, I know that you're not Santa.
That broke my heart.
That broke me.
Because like, I gotta be honest, I was like, is this kid like, what's going on with this kid?
Right. And of course they're like calling him like the R word
Yeah,
throughout the whole
they're
movie.
saying-
And I'm like, okay, so I think that he's just like a shy kid. I think he's like a shy kind of like fat kid. And so they're like, oh, well, he must be slow.
Right.
I don't know.
They kind of just put I keep saying the word trope. I feel like you should drink every time I say it. I said it like 7 times.
Yeah.
But they did. They put every kind of like jokey thing on him.
Yeah.
But when he walked past and like wasn't bothered, I was like, oh, is this kid like Buddhist? Like, is he like really like
is
cool?
he like evolved?
Yeah. And
like,
then I'm like, oh no, they just
what does he have that we don't?
And then I was like, should I be doing that stuff? But he, I did think the whole time, I was like, oh, he really believes this guy Santa. But it did go deeper when he's like, I know you're not Santa, you're my friend. But I do have to give a shout out really quick to Cloris Leachman stealing each scene with her legs slightly too far apart.
Yes.
The whole time
So
as the
funny.
granny.
Yeah.
And John Ritter, his last movie.
I know.
May he
R.I.P.
rest. Oh my God. It said in loving memory of him. And I'm like, he's one of my faves.
Oh
so.
my gosh.
And Bernie Mac.
I know.
What a weird.
Such a weird. And also like he was such a minor character, but he was in so much of the marketing of this movie. He's on the front. He's like just as big as Billy Bob Thornton on the like poster of this movie. And he was in like 3 scenes.
He was, and he strangely like sucked on grapefruits.
Oh God, that was the grossest part. It wasn't the poop, it wasn't the puke, it wasn't any of that. It was
choice.
Bernie Mac sucking on that grapefruit. That was disgusting.
What a weird choice.
That was criminal. Rest in power, King. But that was disgusting.
It was such a weird. And then he was like into Metamucil. Like each time he had a weird choice. But I appreciated those bits of comedy from like Kings because he could carry it all, but those were appreciated.
Yeah, I thought that he did. I mean, for the small role that he played, he really brought it. He clocked into work.
He sure did.
I will say that.
He sure did. You're right.
Okay, what do we think about, I feel like we have to address the little guy of it all.
I think we have to. I've written many things down. I was like, how do we deal with this?
How do we do this? I feel like we are that guy who was like trying to navigate what he should say. He was like, well, he's a...
That's John Ritter.
Yeah, when John Ritter's like, he's a little guy. I was like, oh no. That was actually so funny when he was trying to find the right words.
It was. And Bernie Mac's like, they prefer little people. I was like, yeah. But that was interesting too, because the whole time I thought, oh, this is just like a dumb character, or at least their friendship, like it's not going to go anywhere. Right. And then for him to turn on him in the end, interesting.
It wasn't interesting.
That coming.
I didn't see it coming either. I thought that he seemed so loyal to him in a way that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so even though I didn't see it coming that he was going to turn on him, I'm like, this is probably one of the only things that makes sense in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming
at all. Is that he finally was like, you're unreliable.
Yeah, you're a problem.
I'm like, yeah, somebody, I mean, I feel like at some point I would get so frustrated with someone's unreliability that I may pull a gun on them.
Reminder to be on time.
Yes, reminder to be on time, everybody.
Yeah, that was problematic. But I did think it was clever to use him in this, and a good part, and
totally
a funny comedian, and
yeah.
And then when they were trying to bulk up the little kid, that was cute.
I found that here's the interesting thing about like the dynamic between the two guys is that it makes sense that you would have a little person be put into this role where he is playing an elf because he's sort of like, he's leveraging his own thing. Like he says to them, like, you can't fire me because I'm like a black little person. And I was like, all right, go off. Like, good for him.
Yeah, it was funny. Equal opportunity.
That was so funny.
That was a good line, yeah.
But he, like, it makes sense that he would be able to use this thing that has been used against him and use it to his advantage to be in that job where he can then steal from department stores. Billy Bob Thornton, again, he doesn't look like Santa.
No,
I know that the point is that he looks like Billy Bob Thornton, but I'm just kind of like, okay, well, if you're gonna have this guy sort of fit the part that he's supposed to play, there's nothing that tells me there's no reason for me to believe that a person who works at a department store would hire.
That's a good point. And I think they tried to make that clear by John Ritter on the escalator being like, he's being hired for pennies, but you're right. And I also wanted to know more about why Billy Bob Thornton knew how to open safes so well. Like, what's that background?
What's the story?
Are you there is a bad Santa too.
Right.
And I don't know how they're going to repeat this, but I do think the idea of I do want to ask you about the suicide really quickly.
Okay, yeah, let's get
Or is that, can I say that? Is that what people say?
Yeah, you can say it.
Okay,
yeah.
Because all of a sudden you're like seeing him do stuff, and then all of a sudden he's in a car garage with a hose, and he's like, give this letter to the cops.
Right.
Do you think that aged well?
I feel like it's sort of... I feel like it neither aged bad or good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of neutral, and here's why. I think that it shows us in this very like real way that this man is like troubled.
Yeah.
And it almost sort of, this is one thing that I didn't really love about it, is that it almost makes you feel bad for laughing at everything up until that point. Like they present this man who is completely unreliable. He's got this crazy drinking problem, and it's presented as like a comedy, obviously, that it's like, oh my God, he crushed all those beers in the alley. But then And then it gets to this point where it's like, oh yeah, and also he wants to kill himself. And it's like, wait, what? So is it funny or not?
Right.
But I guess that's the point of a dark comedy, is that it's supposed to ride that line of like, it's funny, but it's tragic, but it's funny, but it's tragic.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but it like made it very... I think it made it very real.
I agree with you. I thought it was like
okay, this is sort of powerful.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
And then he like, he sort of comes to when he realizes that someone else is relying on him, and it's this little kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, yeah, I have a chance to beat up some teenagers, so let's go. I have something to live for.
Yeah, I agree.
was kind of like, and then at that point, it's like, because he is like, we jump again to like the goofiness and the silliness of him beating up these kids,
which is like outrageous.
Yeah, outrageous.
Yeah.
But then it sort of like takes us right back out of that seriousness in a way that is like a nice relief, but it also feels like, holy shit, that really came out of nowhere.
I know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if that was a puzzle piece that you thought should fit in there. I also thought like if it had, I just thought that scene was like pretty powerful. And then I was like, in my head, I was like, notice his black eye, notice the black eye.
Exactly.
And then he did. And I was like, oh. And then when he ate the chocolates of the advent calendar, that was rough. That was rough.
Oh,
that was so rough.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So really real moments in like a touching way of like also touching on like alcoholism. I thought that was like quite real. I thought it was very good. Yeah.
And it's interesting how like they did. I like that we got like a very happy resolution.
Yeah.
He talked about.
Oh yeah. Then he gets shot 8 times.
He gets shot 8 times, but they didn't hit any organs. I was like,
that was out of nowhere.
That was out of nowhere.
Dude, and how many mall cops were there?
They were stacked with mall cops.
In Phoenix, they don't take their mall shopping lightly.
They really don't. It is Law and Order at Macy's. Sorry to name drop. But I mean, I seriously was like, oh my God, how did they hire all these people?
I know. That just escalated really quickly
when
they shot him.
Yeah. But that, like he said, they shot an unarmed Santa, and that was a bigger controversy than Rodney King. I was like, honestly, in Phoenix,
totally agree. Maricopa, yeah.
I'm
just saying. Hashtag check the sheriff. Joe R. What's his name? Arpaio or whatever. Yikes! Yikes!
I felt like really happy that it ended. It kind of in a bow, but they didn't really address the whole like alcoholism thing. We can kind of assume like, he's in the hospital recovering from his bullet wounds. Hopefully he's also detoxing, but he's also probably on pain meds. Now it's kind of like, I don't really know.
True.
I guess we'd have to watch Bad Santa 2, but I've heard that it sucks. So.
I heard that it also does suck.
Yeah.
But why do you think this movie, like, it came out and it really made a big splash?
Yeah.
And is it just for the fact that well, let me ask you this. Is it just for the fact that Santa was so bad? Like, so bad? Or was it the fact that Billy Bob Thornton was so good?
That is such a good question. I think it's probably both.
Okay.
I think
he was good.
He is so good at playing a fucking creep.
Totally. Like, he was as serious as a heart attack. He played it like no comedy.
He really he clocked into work.
He did.
He really
and it worked.
did.
Otherwise, it just would have been silly.
Yeah. I remember when I was little, I was at Blockbuster. So this movie came out in 2003, right? Ish. So I was probably around 8 years old. I remember at Blockbuster.
Oh my God, you're
seeing
so
this movie.
young. Oh my God. So you were at Blockbuster. So you
I was at
remember
Blockbuster. Yeah, okay. I remember being at Blockbuster and seeing this movie on the shelf and being like scared. I was like, oh, that guy's scary.
Really?
I remember being like, ugh. You know what I mean?
See, yeah, I'm older than you. And Billy Bob Thornton had kind of like I hope I'm not like canceled for that. Whatever. I'm already sunsetted. Okay. But like, did you ever find him like somewhat attractive?
I feel like he was sort of this like weird bad boy sex symbol for a minute. To me, he's always been creepy.
Okay, fair.
And like, no, this is nothing personal to the actor Billy Bob Thornton, but Billy Bob Thornton's brand, his persona, his roles that he's played. Creepy.
Totally. I kind of like him, and I'm gonna say in a Daniel Day-Lewis, like, I like your method crafting.
Yeah.
Like, I like the work you do. I like how weird you are.
Right.
I feel like you could play the banjo. I don't know. I just like him.
Yeah, some weird talents up that man's sleeve. I mean, otherwise, how else does he pull? That's the thing.
Totally.
Is like, I just don't get it.
Like he's like a Lyle Lovett sexy, although I don't find him sexy. But like,
right,
he's got a weird.
He appeals
sexy.
to that kind of. If that's your thing, then that's your thing.
Yeah, hardcore.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, speaking of
BBT.
Speaking of that, we also need to talk about the anal sex in the big and tall dressing room. Okay.
This is the crux of the movie, everyone.
This is, okay. The whole thing is that they say that they can't fire him for that. And I'm sort of like, well, you can, because if you're having sex at work in the fitting room, I feel like that's a fireable offense. I don't think anyone's going to say that that's like, you know.
But he claimed it could have been anyone dressed as Santa.
Right.
And then, I mean, can I say the line?
You may.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know this line, but when I brought it up, my friend was like, oh yeah, this line.
That's the line.
I didn't know this was the line. It is, you, quote, you ain't gonna shit right for a week.
Yeah.
And that comes after the anal sex. But it comes out of like nowhere.
Yeah.
And then John Ritter
Ritter trying to communicate it to Bertie Mac. That was
he's so intrinsically funny, man.
Oh my God.
That guy is a hero.
He really is. God bless. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah, that part was like.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, for me, I wasn't so bothered by the fact that it was like a joke about anal sex. It's like, okay, this is a really raunchy movie. The fact that he is a bad Santa and he's like having sex in the dressing room is sort of like, okay, yeah, we can see that coming. But the way that they played up that like she's a big girl was really troubling to me.
The big and tall part
of it. Because they were just sort of like, I could see in my mind, it's like a bunch of men in a room being like, how can we punch up this joke? And they're like, oh, she's also fat. Wouldn't that be so funny?
And they all go, ha ha ha, and they all smoke their cigarettes.
Exactly.
No,
and then
I did
it's
agree.
like, oh my God. And then Bernie Mac's character, he understands it because he also likes them big. Yeah.
I remember that part as well.
I'm just like, okay, it didn't add anything to it for me. It only took away for me.
Yeah. And I think the joke itself, like the fact that he was having anal sex was funny enough.
Right.
You don't have to make it big and tall.
Yeah,
like,
you don't have to make it big and tall. It's okay.
Yeah, we're funny at that. Like, And that kind of came, a lot of left field. It felt like another writer came in to maybe punch up a couple things and went like all the way. And, you know, cool, that works. But yeah, it did kind of come out of left field.
Yeah, it really did. There was, it's actually kind of funny how I was just talking about this with a couple of friends a few weeks ago, that the Coen brothers, they were the executive producers on this movie.
Yeah. Wasn't Weinstein as well?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Because Miramax, they're like, their distribution at this time, they were like, we're going to put out movies that are crazy.
That's right.
They're like, it's going to be disgusting.
That's right. Dude. So that's Coen brothers, huh?
Yeah, but they didn't write the script, but there's sometimes this is considered like a Coen brothers movie because of the way that they allegedly like made a lot of changes to the script.
So they might have come in, punch it up.
Yeah.
I could see that anal sex bit being a punch up.
A punch up.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound good when we're talking about the bud, but
that sentence doesn't sound good. But that's interesting to me because they've done that on several movies.
Right.
Where it becomes, is it a Coen brothers production or not? I
feel like that's kind of a gray area. People being like, so is it really a Coen brothers movie?
Interesting.
I don't really know if I think like this is like in the Coen brothers canon,
right?
But it does make sense, like you said, thinking about like, oh, it's clear that someone else came in and was like, how can we kind of amp this up a little bit?
Yeah.
But I just think that maybe I'm asking too much of this movie, but I did need a little bit more of a story.
I kind of know what you mean. We did, when we say beginning, middle, and end, you are 100% right. We started smack dab in the middle.
Yes.
Like no background.
Nope.
No, why is he like this?
All we know is that his dad hit him. That's like something that we come back to a couple of times. He's like, oh yeah, and then my dad hit me. It's like
he was an abusive drunk. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there could have been more of a buildup, and I would have appreciated that more.
Yeah.
And there were several montages of them making like the bologna.
Right.
Where I was like, yeah, it kind of got into like campy, a little campy.
Yeah.
But I do hear you that it didn't have any beginning.
There was no beginning.
No.
And it did feel like for the first maybe 40 minutes, we were just establishing Santa is bad.
Yeah, and he said the same things over and over. What the fuck you want?
Yeah.
You want this shirt? Done. Go.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. Yeah.
It made me think like how much was improvised too. Like when he was just yelling at kids, I'm like, he kind of stuck to a lot of the same material.
It was a lot of repetitive lines.
I guess if you were an alcoholic Santa, you probably would kind of have your go-to lines as well. It's not like you'd be like, oh, how can I say this differently? How can I tell this kid to fuck off in a different way?
That's such a good call.
Yeah.
It's a funny concept, the alcoholic Santa. I get it. It's a good improv sketch, but it does need a beginning.
It needs a beginning.
It's
like, why?
Sketch it out more.
I want to know sort of how he and his partner in crime came together.
Oh, right. And why is he good at safes?
I want to know more about his partner in crime's girlfriend.
I do, too.
She was fascinating to me, and I was like, we don't get to know her at all.
No.
And she's just woman.
A lot of the women were just women.
Woman.
I mean, in fact, all of the women were just women.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
there was large woman, nice woman. Old woman.
Fat woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they have those types of tropes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Tropes.
Why am I Tory the trope? So annoying.
Oh, my God. Tory the trope.
That's so weird. But yeah, you're right. There was zero. I'm trying to think if there's any good, well-written women in many Coen Brothers films, but...
I mean, I feel like Frances McDormand's character in Fargo
yeah.
was very good.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was great. That's a classic. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She rocks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Okay, I just made the connection. Billy Bob Thornton in Fargo was so creepy.
I think a lot of people have that from Fargo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, in my head, I'm now just putting together that he's like in like the Coen Brothers repertoire.
Correct. They use the same people.
Exactly.
And I was like, he feels like a Coen Brothers guy.
Totally. Because he is it's so easy to make him so creepy.
Yeah. He's like, you know what he was like to you? He was like my No Country for Old Men. What's his name? Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see him as sexy because I see him in that weird haircut.
Right. Oh, for sure.
With the cattle.
Yeah.
The cattle prod thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Some kicking in the balls stuff. That was like, I don't know. Okay. I feel like I have to take a step back and just say, I know that this movie wasn't made for me. And not every movie is made for me. There are a lot of movies that are, and this is one that just wasn't.
Who was this made for, do you think?
I think that this movie was made for probably young men.
Yeah, it was like a 14-year-old boy.
Probably, yeah, probably that. I think it was made for, like kind of the cynical, like lost generation of men that were just like, I just want to see someone kicked in the balls.
Yeah, it did go to easy answers.
It did,
but I did have to say I was happy that there was a shred of like I wanted to see that kid protected.
Me too.
And I was really glad when it was Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
And I was glad when he beat up those teenagers.
Me too.
Which is not okay to say.
I know. But they put us in that position.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
And those skater boys were also underwritten.
Right.
Hey, what are you, idiot boy?
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I was like, are they improving too?
Yeah,
is this a 12-year-old improving? Because he's like,
good.
Yeah, you stupid.
You're a boy who's dumb. I'm like,
yeah.
Oy.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe the kid was so desensitized because his dad also was in crime. You know how his dad was like embezzling and they go see him in jail?
Wait,
like,
you just totally, wow.
You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right. The fraud would be almost, and he was desensitized in a way that he was sort of flat affect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Traumatized.
Totally. Yes.
But you're totally right about the crime aspect.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
He's like, I just gravitate toward men who do crime. Reminds me of my dad.
That's hysterical.
When he's looking for a father figure, he's got to find a guy who loves crime.
That's so interesting. I hadn't put that together. It was weird the kid was allowed to just be in that house alone.
Right.
Yeah. That was troubling.
That was troubling.
Yeah.
It was funny though when we thought grandma was dead and then she wasn't.
Yeah, that was
funny.
A
part where I actually did laugh out loud. I was like, oh, that's good.
And that scene, I thought Billy Bob Thornton looked the hottest. Because he was in a Santa suit for so long, and then when he was with Lauren Graham and starting to like do the popcorn thing, he was like looking better, wearing shirts, he was eating a salad.
Exactly.
You know, there was a upswing.
There was, yeah. Because she's a woman and women take care.
Nurture.
Nurture. And naturally
How
nurture.
much do you think she got for that fucking role?
Oh, my God.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough.
She looked degraded. I mean, that wasn't good. I was like, is Lauren Graham screaming, fuck me, Santa, right now? That was
I felt really sad for her.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. I was really, really sad for her.
You need to make Gilmore Girl.
Yeah.
Do you hear?
Oh, God. Okay. I don't remember what I was talking about here, but I wrote in my notes, I love the visor.
She did, the girlfriend.
Oh, the girlfriend. See, I want to know more about her.
Her style was good.
I want to know more about her.
She had interesting style too.
She really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I felt like when Lauren Graham's character said to Billy Bob Thornton, I like you anyway, when he's like, the fact of the matter is I'm not Santa. I'm like, but why?
I know.
Why?
And there's so many girlfriends that I have where they're in this relationship where it's like some trashy dude where I'm like, why?
Why?
But they also dressed her up to look like super pretty. Even when she first flirts with him in the bar, what flirty waitress is going to go to some deranged man and be like, what's your name? Short arm, like her boobs, tits out. Like, what are you doing?
No.
What are we doing here?
No. She would not be working for tips that
Too
much.
Wholesome. I would have, you know who I would have believed? Marissa Tomei.
Yes.
Marissa Tomei.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
Lauren Graham. No, honey, you are hot chocolate. You're too wholesome.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
They needed to have she needed to be more fucked up.
Totally agree.
She needed to be down on her luck. She needed to have some other scheme going on.
Maybe a sex word, like something edgy.
Truly. Yeah, like something edgy. But she was just like a normal bartender
Sunshine
who
and
was
rainbows.
all like put together. She loves kids. She just has a little Santa kink. And so then she fucks guys who are really weird looking and not nice at all.
Do you think, how many women have a Santa kink?
Oh my God, girls, write in the comments. But
no kink shaming at all.
No kink shaming
at all. But like,
how common is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it hard during this time of the year?
It could be,
Triggering.
Are you turned on all the time?
Constantly
activated? God. That would be really tough.
Really hard. And as a Jew, I'm like, maybe I thought, do Jewish women have more of a Santa
kink? Yeah. Kink? My gosh, we gotta ask the girls.
Jewish ladies, my Jewish ladies, my members of the tribe. I don't, but I'm like, interesting. It's just very interesting.
It is really interesting. It does make me want to kind of explore some subreddits and like see what people are talking about.
Great idea.
Because
is there Elf? I mean, there's
certainly.
Wow.
There's gotta be, right?
Wow. Mrs. Claus, I bet. Big Pornhub search.
I'm sure.
Especially this time of year.
This time of year, trending.
Someone wrote, I don't know about you, but I listen to Christmas songs and Santa be fucking. Because it's like, Santa's coming to town. Mama's kissing Santa. Yeah. Like, he is just down.
He is, I mean, look, he's
Horny
like
guy.
Billy Bob Thornton. He pulls.
He is. He
pulls. And Mrs. Claus, she's just there at home making cookies, waiting for him to come home.
To be honest, she's not real sketched out. I could have used more on Mrs. Claus.
We all could have.
You know what I mean?
A classic underwritten woman.
Completely.
You know, what does she do other than be Santa's wife?
What turns her on?
Right.
What makes her tick?
What kink does she have?
Yeah. The cold? Like, what is it?
She loves to be cold.
She loves it.
Yeah.
Toys. Is it?
Santaphilia.
Wait, that's not even, we could workshop that. Santaphilia.
Yeah, we could really do a lot more with that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I really hope that this finds the right audience.
I do too.
Yeah, and again, no kink shaming.
Totally. If you're into it, I'm actually fascinated.
I just want to know more.
Totally agree.
And if you have a Santa kink, I want to know specifically: would you have fucked Billy Bob Thornton?
Great question.
In that role.
Totally good question.
Because it's not like, I mean, okay, so if somebody has like, I don't know, if somebody has like a leather kink, it's not like just anyone putting on leather is going to make them be like, whoa.
No.
So
I mean, it's an odd casting. The whole thing was oddly cast.
The whole thing is, I mean, Billy Bob Thornton is perfectly cast.
Right. But like a skinny Santa,
like you said. Santa. He doesn't look at all like Santa.
No. Interesting movie.
It's very, very odd. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that we really need to get into. Oh yeah, also the way that Jin, the character played by Bernie Mac, he was so mean to women the whole time. Like when he goes to the nail salon, he's like, "What are you doing?" What?
That was weird.
That was troubling.
And did we need that scene of him eating the hard candy gloss on his nails and then kicking that woman?
Yeah.
I don't think any woman was well represented on this. No. Well, that's Bad Santa for you.
That's Bad Santa.
Yeah, you're right. That was a weird scene. The whole Bernie Mac choice. I bet a lot of that was improv.
Yeah, probably.
I bet a lot of that was improv.
Probably.
Yeah.
A little troubling.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else that you want to cover? Because I do have a funny little game for us, but I want to make sure that we get to everything that we need to get to.
I just have to shout out Octavia Spencer showing up.
Oh my God. And her line was the funniest.
Yeah.
That was
random. She's a grandma. She's an improver.
Oh yeah.
Very funny woman.
She was so funny.
I was like, is that Octavia Spencer?
Yeah. When she said, not today, last time, right, for a week. That was actually so funny.
It was.
That was so funny because it was
comeback.
It was just it was a nice callback.
Totally.
It was funny, and it wasn't just, if it would have been that alone, I would have been like, ew.
Right, but
because it was a callback, it's funny.
I agree.
Yeah.
The one thing that didn't age well is him trying to show that 18-year-old or 16-year-old girl how to do the arcade.
That was so gross.
Cringe.
The way that
she said she was 18.
Right.
And I'm like, oy.
The way that he is like, we're seeing from his perspective how he's like looking at women and girls. It's just so like,
that crossed a little bit of the line.
Crossed a line.
Yeah, she was very young. And he was like thrusting behind her.
That was so gross.
Yeah.
And she obviously was like not into it.
No, it was a little John Hughes. You know what I mean?
It really was. Yeah. It was just grody. And I felt like I didn't really need any of that. I didn't need any of it. We already knew that he was a misogynist. We did not need the rest of it.
Because I liked him still. Like, I still enjoyed him for some reason. And then when he did that, I was like, oh, dude.
Oh, yeah. Actually, he's like a predator.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's not good.
Yeah.
The setting of Phoenix, Arizona is funny.
Oh, I totally agree.
That was funny.
And I lived there for a while, and it really read.
Yeah.
When he walked out and it was hot out during Christmas in his sandals, I was like, this reads really. And all the topiary and the like the beigeness.
Yes.
Very suburban.
Yeah, and the way that when they're playing Christmas music, like Let It Snow, when it's like they're walking through the sun. That was so funny.
Because it makes you sad.
Yes.
Yeah, and when they're walking that hot pavement,
yes.
There's nothing worse.
Yeah.
We would go to Phoenix and my dogs couldn't even walk out in the winter because they get burned on their paws.
Oh, like on their paws. Oh, God.
Anyway, shout out to our Phoenix listeners.
Shout out Phoenix.
We bagged on their sheriff and police department too.
But anyone from Phoenix who listens probably is in alignment with us.
Completely.
Okay, and then also I really didn't understand the part where that guy comes up to him and it is like accusing him of being gay.
Oh my God.
What was
Did
that
he
all
try
about?
and rape that other guy?
I don't know.
Okay, so if you guys don't know, there's a scene where just at a bar, some guy's looking at Billy Bob Thornton like strangely, and he confronts him and he's like, I'm not gay. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he like assaults him and we never talk about it again.
Yeah.
That was super weird.
It was so confusing.
Was weird. That was you're absolutely right. That should have been cut.
I didn't understand what was going on.
That was the other writer. To me, that felt like, remember, like, you know what I mean? Like these random moments, like that did not need to happen.
Yeah.
That was very strange.
Very weird. Gay panic.
Yeah. And then he was like, but was he gay?
Who is gay? It's like, who's gay here?
Right. There was like not enough gay jokes, so they had to put one in.
Yeah,
it felt like, you know
totally.
What I mean?
They're like, we'll just throw this in.
Yeah.
Someone's going to like come up to him and be like, you're gay.
Yeah. And then that'll be the scene.
And that'll be the joke.
Yeah, that did work.
Even though it didn't like truly just like cause and effect. I'm like, well, what actually happened? Why is this happening?
Strange. I forgot all. It was like that scene in The Shining where you see a person in like a costume.
Right.
There's the scene where you're just like, what was that?
Like, what was that?
And we never talk about it.
Don't come back to it.
No.
Yep. Okay. Let's see, the low blood sugar thing. He's like, that's like his excuse for why he acts like that.
Yeah, that was really weird.
That was weird.
And like that the parents wouldn't be like, you're not sitting on that kid's lap.
Yeah.
I was like,
I know. Like if you were a parent and you saw Billy Bob Thornton,
I know.
you would probably say we're going to go to the other Santa.
And the fact that they didn't have any security cameras in the mall.
Yeah.
At night.
And it's like 2003.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, yeah.
And then they just, again, the shooting.
Shot him.
So strange.
I know.
Okay.
But cops really be out here just shooting people.
That's the moral of that, Sarah.
And that's the moral of the story. Okay. I thought that it was just like a little bit too easy for me that he got off scot-free.
The whole thing wrapped up, and I don't understand the letter.
Right.
I was going to ask you.
He just basically outlined all of the crimes that he's committed.
And then why did the cops realize? I don't get it. He's like, the kid. Like, why did he? I got confused.
Okay, so basically, like,
like, why were all the cops there?
Right. Well, why? How did they know? Like, was it all like they knew that this was happening? So they're like, we have to like.
I didn't understand that.
Swarm the building.
Right? Did the kid call it in?
No, I don't think so. But the kid gave them the letter because he said when the cops come to bag up Santa.
Oh God!
When he was like,
I wrote that down.
Woo!
That was too much.
So dark. So he was like, you're going to give this to the cops.
Right.
And so then when the cops showed up to the house because they shot him at the house. And the kid is none the wiser. He doesn't know that Santa was going to kill himself. All he knows is that when the cops come to bag up Santa, he needs to give them the letter. So he gives them the letter, and the letter outlines he confesses to all of the crimes.
I see.
And so they're like, oh, because you confess to all these crimes, we're just gonna let you go.
There was like a gaping hole, and he just said it real fast, and I was like, I don't know about that.
It was like they said that he was going to be like a consultant to the police because like it made them look so bad that first of all they hadn't caught him.
Oh, God.
And that they
I mean, that wrapped that up with a bow then.
Yeah. And also that like they couldn't really like imprison him because people would be mad because they shot an unarmed Santa. So
everything just worked out perfect.
Everything
like fairy tale.
worked out. But you know what? I was kind of happy that everything worked out.
I was too. It's like
it's too easy. I think they could have been so much more creative with the way they made it all come back together.
You know, it's like a Tarantino revenge film where you're like so happy that like she didn't die or you know this person got the revenge back. I like when things end that way because there's a sense of like. And I think a lot of these Sandler-esque movies end with like, and that's how your mom and I got the house back. And it's like, ding, ding, ding. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
So they sort of don't think of an ending. They also don't think of a beginning, as we found out.
Yes.
So really, we're just in the middle.
In the middle. We're just kind of wandering around the middle, just kind of drunkenly stumbling along in the middle.
It's almost like a play.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I could see this being
a Broadway
play.
musical.
Oh,
That's Santa when you wanna make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The
canna. You know what I mean? You can do the whole
totally.
thing.
The scenes with Sue, Lauren Graham's character, would be really interesting on stage.
I wonder if she regrets it.
Of course she does.
How much she made? $50,000?
Yeah,
nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, sorry.
Ugh. They're like, oh well, you didn't have that many lines. God, you only said "fuck me, Santa" 3 times.
Golly. It was so strange.
So strange. Poor thing. Well, I have a game for you.
Cannot wait.
Oh my gosh, we love a game. Okay, so this is called Almost Movie Trivia. And it's where I come up with trivia questions related to a theme that's loosely inspired by the movie.
Fantastic.
And my trivia questions for you are about Naughty Christmas.
Ah, what a Jewish thing to do.
I know, right? Okay, the first question is...
Okay.
And there's a correct answer to this.
Oh, okay.
What is the most annoying inappropriate Christmas song? Is it Santa Baby, Baby It's Cold Outside, or I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus?
Beep. Can you add a little buzzer there, Nick? It's clearly Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yes.
I don't want to go. I'll put something in your drink.
Yeah.
Shut the door. Get in here.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It is so bad. And that is the correct answer. All 3 of these songs are
problematic.
Horrible. And it's not that I'm like, oh, you know, no one should be kissing.
Right.
It's just that I don't need, okay, here's the thing. And again, no kink shaming to people with a Santa kink. I don't need Christmas to be horny.
Yeah.
I think that we need to make Christmas a lot less horny.
It's really horny, the song.
Yeah.
Get over here. We're going to get, totally right.
It's gross.
It is.
We don't need it to be so horny.
It can be just about kids and toys and.
Right.
Yeah.
Cold,
you're
but
right.
like maybe we could just like stay inside because it's warm because like we're
Right.
friends and we're all having a fun time.
And we have a meaningful discussion and then we leave.
And then we leave. And then we leave when it's, safe to drive.
Yeah, Hanukkah doesn't have any of these problems.
That is so true.
We're just dreidel, and
that is it.
We don't care. We don't have any of this.
Yeah, and thank God.
Thank God.
Okay, the next question is, which of the following is a real title of a Christmas parody song by drag queen Trixie Mattel?
Okay.
Is it Deck the Balls, All I Want for Christmas is Nudes, or Package Under the Tree?
I hope it's the first one.
That one I did make up.
Oh,
the correct answer is the second one.
It is.
All I Want for Christmas is Nudes.
It's good. It's
and
a
that's
good
pretty
one.
good.
That is a good one.
And it is really catchy. It's fun. Okay, the final question. In the 1700s, there were these groups of young men who were known to break into their landlords' homes on Christmas, demanding that they let them in to drink their wine and eat their food. They used a special technique as they went door to door, which became which popular tradition we know today?
Caroling.
Amazing.
Was that right?
Yes, that's correct.
What did they do then?
They would go to the doors. They would like sing and carol, and then they'd be like, "Let us in to party at your house."
That's so
Which
smart.
I also love because like they weren't trying to like steal anything. They literally were just like, well, yeah, like we'll steal your food and your wine. We're not gonna like walk away with your treasures.
Just revelry.
But they were like, no, let us party here.
It's like, I like that. Can I be honest? Would you, 1 to 10, how much do you want a caroler to sing to you? Agreed. I don't know if anyone really likes it.
No, I wouldn't want like.
What if your kink was caroling?
Oh my God. Then yeah, again, really horny Christmas.
Totally.
Yeah. That would
come
be tough.
all ye faithful.
Oh my God, girl.
Bad Jew. Oh my God.
But that's why we need Jewish input on Christmas culture. And no one is talking about that enough.
No one. And there's no like hot Hanukkah hunk.
Yeah.
It's always like finding Mr. Christmas. It's always the
always,
Hallmark has no Jewish ones.
Yeah. I know. None.
8 crazy nights. We could get crazy.
Girl.
Nothing. Ugh.
Well, those are all the questions I had for you. You absolutely nailed Almost Movie
excited.
Trivia.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, you're so welcome.
This has been a blast.
This has been such a blast. What do you like to do for the holidays? Like, what are your traditions?
So, we hang the ornaments, and my mom used to get us all Jewish ornaments because she was mad that we had like a Christmas tree.
For sure.
You know what
So
I mean?
it was
They're
like
all
her
like
way
dreidels.
to be like, this is me being subversive.
It was passive aggressive in the most like aggressive way.
I love that.
Yeah. But we were gonna make latkes.
Fun.
So we're gonna teach my Irish Catholic in-laws how to make
Oh,
latkes.
how
If you know what
fun.
they are, they're just potato pancakes.
Yeah.
And you eat them with sour cream and applesauce. And then I'm gonna drink like too much wine.
Fun.
And my in-laws like to listen to like Sinatra.
Oh,
Sinatra
yeah,
Christmas.
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that kind of Christmas.
That's my kind of
what I mean?
kind of Christmas.
Yeah.
I really like kind of like old timey,
Yeah, a little jazzy.
Christmas, a little jazzy.
Yeah, keep it
but not
splashy.
too jazzy.
No, we're not.
you know?
But we're like a little jazzy.
A little jazzy Christmas.
Yeah,
I love.
That's what I want to do. So,
that's great.
Yeah. What is your tradition?
Well, my uncle always has a Christmas Eve party every year, and I have a big extended family. So this year, pretty much everyone's coming to the big Christmas Eve party. So that should be really fun. And then I'm just gonna go to Fort Collins where my parents live, and
lovely.
hang out with my sister, my brother-in-law, my little niece McKenna. She's 2.
Oh, so this is the Christmas magic.
Yeah,
I love when a kid's involved.
oh my gosh, it's so fun.
That's nice.
I haven't decided what to get her though, because like she's a child and she already has like literally everything she needs. Her birthday was also just a few weeks ago.
So I'm a January birthday. We get it. So when you're right in, but it's bad.
It's tough.
It's
like,
tough.
They haven't even unpacked all the gifts that she just got for her birthday. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. I went to a White Elephant gift exchange a couple weeks ago, and I got a pet rock.
I think that's it.
And I'm kind of like, I think I should get that for my niece, because my sister recently, because she thought it would be fun for her daughter, she got a pet fish, and she kind of didn't realize like how much work it was gonna be. She's like, oh, you actually have to like, yeah, she like
you have to clean that
yeah,
sucker.
you have to clean it, and also the fish like. I think that the fish is kind of like in a place of Billy Bob Thornton where like the fish does not want to be alive anymore.
It's like trying to like jump out of it.
Yeah, this fish is like it'll kind of be floating along but not dead.
Oh no.
I know. And so I'm like, you guys, they already have a dog, so it's like you don't need another pet.
No.
Let's just get
a chia
you
pet or a pet rock.
Pet rock.
Great idea.
And I think that my niece will find it really funny because, you know.
And have her send it to you, pictures of it every day in different locations.
Yeah. Oh
you
my
know
gosh.
what I mean?
Yes. That's
Name
so
it,
cute.
paint a little hair on it.
Exactly.
Like
yeah. I've got like, it's like a little kit that has like little googly eyes. So I feel like, I mean, what else am I going to do with this pet rock?
I completely. You need someone to watch it.
We need, yeah, seriously. I need someone to watch it. They don't have Rover for pet rocks.
That's such a good idea. Man.
Yeah.
That's
so
great. That's a good idea. I was thinking too for my dad and sister who have everything, whatever.
Right.
I'm going to find a dog on Pet Finder named Jerry. And support, his name is Jerry.
Cute.
And like support that dog.
That is really cute.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
Yeah. I'm going to do that.
Oh my God, I love that
I hope
idea.
there's a dog out there named Jerry.
I knew a dog named Jerry who, rest in power, Jerry's really no longer with us, but a really cool dog.
I like when they name the dog like Gary or Steve.
Me too. I love human names for dogs.
My cat was Alan.
I love that.
Great name.
What a fun name.
Good name.
Well, Tori, this has been an absolute delight.
I hope I can come back someday.
Oh my God, you're open invitation.
Thank you, because I've had a joy with you.
Oh my God, same. And happy holidays, everybody. Don't forget to drop in the comments if you have any information about, you know, what we have discussed before. I'm not trying to get involved. I just want to broaden my knowledge. We
just want to get in on the forums.
We just want to know. But also like keep it like classy enough so that we don't get flagged on YouTube.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Totally. Keep that Christmas magic, y'all.
And keep the magic. Bye.